We'd like to thank Mr. Murli and all of you for inviting us to be with you, though online, for this event. And it's so heartening, so nice. Here you start your day in office by singing our national song, Vande Mataram. It's hardly heard these days, but it's so heartening that you people have kept up the noble tradition of singing our national song, Vande Mataram. Thank you so much. Getting on to the subject of the day, when Mr. Murli spoke to us, among the discussion that we had was to speak about Sankranti festival, because we are just a couple of days before Sankranti. The idea of what this festival is, Sankranti, is we'll speak about. In our work, Bharath Gyan, of course, we have been doing on a different subjects, variety of subjects, but which we can discuss with your colleagues on each different occasion. But this occasion being the occasion of Sankranti, we thought it would be apt to do this. So, without much ado, we'll get on to the subject of Sankranti, and my wife Hema will lead you through it now.
Thank you. And given that you're all joining from all over India, and this festival is also something that is being celebrated all over India, we have tried to bring out the aspects that unite people across this civilization. So much that we are all celebrating this festival, and you will be surprised that the reason is also same. See, there is a very beautiful difference between Sankranti and Deepavali. In Deepavali also, the entire land is celebrating at the same time. But if you look at different regions, the reasons are different. There are very many different reasons for which Deepavali is celebrated. Perhaps maybe this year down the line when Deepavali is due, maybe we'll come and talk to you about that. We would like to share that with you all. It's actually a whole month of festivity in case of Deepavali with different reasons. But in Sankranti, the entire land is united in its the reason for celebration and also the way we celebrate it. So that is what we are going to see and relish today. This is the cover of our book that we have posted a few days ago. Towards the end, we will show you where you can find this book on our website. So you can read it later at your leisure as well. So if you look at this Makara Sankranti, we normally just say Sankranti, but the word actually is Makara Sankranti. And the word Makara is a word that comes to us from the astronomical perspective. We will see that as well. And the reason for celebrating Makara Sankranti, at least 4 specific reasons. So coming back to it, there are 4 very, very specific reasons. One is when the sun is in the Makara Rashi itself, there is something very unique that you get to see in the sky. And that is something we celebrate during this Sankranti. Then Uttarayanam or Uttarayan is another phenomena that we celebrate during Makara Sankranti. And of course, the entire land is united by this harvest season. And that is one more reason why we celebrate Sankranti. And in parts of India, it is the arrival of the Ganga river, the arrival of the Ganga river at the sea, when it joins the sea. So that is yet another reason why we celebrate Sankranti.
One second. She just to explain the word Makara Rasi. And whenever, I'm sure all of you use different parts of India use the word Rashi in different forms. Well, but what is the meaning of the word Rashi? The word Rashi there means cluster, a group. So in English it's called as a zodiac. We have the zodiac belt. Whereas in the Indian languages, all the Indian languages, we call it Rashi. Rashi just means a group or a cluster. So in the night sky, when you see the stars, there are different stars. There are innumerable stars beyond count. But you also see small patterns in the sky. So all these patterns, each individual pattern is grouped together, is called Rashi. It's as simple as that. And of course, in English, it's known as zodiac. So there is a zodiac belt as well, which I'll explain to you about now.
So as the Earth is going around the sun in its almost circular orbit, so in this particular plane, the kind of background stars that you see, That is the zodiac belt. The earth always orbits around the sun as a disk, like as though it's in a plate, and the sun is in the center, and imagine if it were a plate and the earth were at the rim. So it is going around just like a flat plane. So there is a set of standard stars which are around at the rim of the plate, and they don't change when seen from earth.
So what she's saying is the revolution of the sun is in a
Earth.
the revolution of the earth is in a flat plane, like a chakra. So it is not here and there. It's in a very well-determined flat plane.
And not only Earth, all the planets of the solar system, except Uranus, all of them are in the same flat disk, which is why when the Earth is spinning around on its axis, you will see all these stars, all the rashis rising and setting from east to west. And along this path, you will see the sun, you will see the moon, you will see all the planets. They'll all travel only in one path in the sky. They won't go near the north or the south. They'll be almost, a little away from the equator, but it'll all be in one straight line, and that is called the zodiac belt or the Rashi Chakra. And this Rashi Chakra, this circumference is divided into 12 based on 12 groups, distinct patterns that can be seen. And one of the patterns is the Capricorn sign, which is called Makara in Sanskrit and Indian languages.
All Indian languages.
So this Makara, what happens is when the Earth is at this point in its orbit, so this is its orbit. So when it is at this point, and you look at the sun, the direct constellation which is behind the sun, that is called the Rashi in which the sun is there. So Makara Rashi, when the Earth is at this point, so it's continuously every minute, every second it's moving. So for about 30 days, when you look at it from the Earth, the sun is actually against this particular zodiac, the Makara Rashi. So sun rises with this and sets with this. So this, you will actually not be able to see it during this month because the sun's light will not allow you to see it.
See, one point here, we're not talking about astrology. Let's be clear. We're talking only about astronomical observation that we see. There's no astrology or prediction that we're talking about here. When we talk about astronomy.
So therefore, this is the way we have our calendars are designed. They are designed based on the movement of Earth, which we actually say, which we perceive as the movement of sun. Because we are on Earth, we cannot feel our own movement. So we understand our movement with the movement of the sun. So as we are on this path, this road, when we are at this point and we are at Makara, that is called a Makara Rashi and Makara Sankranti. Sankranti means to enter. So in Kranta means like a junction. So your Kranta means to move over, move into. And Sankranti means a good movement, something that augurs well. So every transition of the Earth as it keeps moving, and it keeps, therefore the sun is seen against each and every zodiac, has been called a Sankranti.
So the word karam, to do, so that is an activity, it's a point of an act. So that's why when you have the word revolution, they say Kranti. On the change, they say Kranti, Krantikar, Krantivir. So the word Kranti, that's why the word Sankranti, it's a good Kranti. It's a good change. It augurs well. That's why it's called Sankranti from time immemorial all over the land. So the Sankranti means something good happening.
So while in this month, around January and February, mid-February, Earth is against the Makara Rashi. Around March, April, when Earth comes here and you see the sun against the Aries, we call it as Mesha Shankaranti. So every Shankaranti is a transit. So Makara Shankaranti is therefore, it marks the time when the Earth is in this part of the orbit. So that is what is important, not so much as the zodiac, but the fact that the Earth is at this point in its orbit around the sun. Now, what happens during this time, therefore? So, if you look at the stars in the sky, this is a point where you see on one side at the rising. So, the sun here is in Makara. And here is where you have a star which is associated with the divinity Vishnu in Indian thought. And the exact opposite side where it is rising, the star that is rising is the Rudra star, which is Betelgeuse in the Orion constellation. And in Indian thought, this has been associated with the divinity Shiva. So for people in the Indian civilization, there are two major stars that are, one is rising, one is setting. So in the evening, they feel as though they are between these two stars. And therefore, you see that this is very sacred month and a very significant time for people who worship Swami Ayyappa. Because as the legends describe, Swami Ayyappa is Hari Putra. So he is from the union of Shiva and Vishnu, and therefore you have Hari Putra, which is why Makara Sankranti is very, very important in Shabarimala. We have written a full book on this that you can read. It is on our website. If you go to our book section, you will find Understanding Swami Ayyappa.
Understanding Sabarimala Swami Ayyappa is the name of the book. It's available for you to read, where we describe in greater detail. Just here, just giving you the headline here as to see how it's also astronomical, so beautiful. Each of you can go out in the morning sky or evening sky, see the beauty of this and enjoy. Because the festivity is just not in making a sweet dish. The festivity is to appreciating that we are all part of this whole creation, Shishti, and enjoying, experiencing this whole thing in the skies, along with nature, with Prakriti. That is the beauty of our life, human life. When you say Utsav, the festival is an English word. The Indian word in all Indian languages is Utsav. The word Utsav itself means what? Ut means to uplift. Uplift a person. Utkarsha. Uttishta means get up. Ut is to uplift. So Uttar, north was lifting. Okay, up in the north. So the word Ut itself means uplifting. So Uttishta, get up. Okay, all of you would have heard this sloka, no? Uttishta, Uttishta, Narasadula, Kartavyam, Devamanikam. So you get this in the Venkateswara Suprabhatam. So get up in the morning, Uttishta. So that means every festival that we celebrate is uplifting to us. And how is it uplifting? When we correlate with all aspects of nature, it's uplifting. Not only by having sugarcane, not only by praying, not only by eating pongal or khichdi or
wearing
new clothes, not only by having chakra pongal or sweet pongal, but also along with relishing nature. That creates all these Uttishta festivals. So
because it is this nature which is giving us this reason to celebrate. And that's what we're going to see now. It is because of nature that you have a reason. It has created the reason for this particular celebration. And the beauty is, this Orion constellation is one of the most beautiful constellations. It is a pattern which is very distinct in the sky. And this is going, and it is just rising at sunset. So through the night, you can see this, and it is winter time. The skies are clear. So this is a very nice time for people in this land to enjoy the skies, enjoy the beautiful constellations in the sky. So that is one aspect of Makara Sankranti. The other aspect is, like we just spoke, it is Uttarayan time. What do we mean by Uttarayan? We have two words that we are very familiar with, Uttarayan and Dakshinayan. How do we understand this? See, we said the earth is going around the sun, but it is not, the earth, when it spins about its axis, is not exactly perpendicular to this plane. It is slightly tilted as it spins around the sun. And that is why you have the 4 seasons. So there are 4 specific points on the orbit of the earth, where at 2 points, that is during spring and autumn, when the sunlight, because of its tilt, the sunlight falls exactly at the center.
Equator.
On the equator. And the amount of daylight is equal for both northern and southern hemisphere. So this is called the spring and the autumn season. And these points in the orbit have been called as equinoxes because it is equal, a point of equal position. Whereas there are two other points in the same orbit where one of the hemispheres gets more sunlight than the other. And therefore they've been called as summer solstice, where the amount of sunlight when it is more in the northern hemisphere, then you call it the summer solstice because it is peak summer for north. And when it is more in the south, the northerners have tended to call it winter solstice, but actually it is summer for the southern hemisphere.
For people in Australia and New Zealand, it is summer.
So these two are called the solstice points, and they're called solstice because the sun, what happens is now, because this earth is tilted like this, see, this is the tilt and these are the points that you have, the equinoxes and the solstices. Now, this is something very beautiful. All of you can try doing it in your house. Every day you stand in the same spot and look at facing east, you mark a circle for yourself, stand in that spot and keep looking at the sun, rising sun. Observe it at the same time every day. You will find that this sun is not rising at the same spot every day. Each day it will move. It will keep moving northwards, reach a particular point, and then start moving southwards, come to the same center point, then go further south, and then come back to the center. So it will keep oscillating. The sunrise, if you're standing here and you mark that circle, then you keep observing the sun against certain reference points, other buildings or things around you, trees or buildings around you. You will find that the sun each day is rising at different points. So at one northernmost point, the sun will stand, it will appear to stand still and then turn back. That is why this point is called solstice. Sol meaning sun, solar.
Sol is solar, sun. Solar, sol. Stis, stationary, stand still. So on that particular day, the sun goes to its northernmost point and stands still. That is stis. So solar, standing still is solstice. Similarly, when it goes to the southernmost point, in Tropic of Capricorn, in Makar Rashi, what does it do? It goes and stands still there. So that is why it is called winter solstice or the southern solstice. So that's what happens there. So look at how the word itself has come.
And there are particular dates when this happens. So the spring and autumn equinox, they happen around 21st March and about 22nd September. Then the summer solstice happens around 21st June. And the winter solstice around 21st December.
So it is an equinox. Look at that. Equal, equinox, equator. So it is summer. It is at the center of the earth. So that's why you use the word equinox. Look at this Uttarayan.
So this sun, therefore, if you look at it, it seems to be oscillating between this southern point and the northern point. It keeps going up and down.
You just show an animation of it. Just a moment.
So when it stops here and starts turning northward, you call it Uttarayan. And likewise, when it reaches this and starts turning downwards, you call it Dakshinayan.
So it's going up north, it's Uttarayan. Uttarayan. When it turns south and comes Dakshin, it's called Dakshinayan. So this is a 6-month journey. Each journey is 6 months long. So the two journeys put together is 1 year for us. But we calculate the new year from when the sun crosses the equator. For us, all in the northern hemisphere, every civilization in the northern hemisphere celebrates New Year, not from the point of starting from the south, but from the point of equator.
And
that's a different day. When we speak about New Year in March, April, we'll speak about that idea. Today, we'll focus on the idea of Uttarayan and Capricorn.
So this southernmost point that it touches, the projection of that is called the Tropic of Capricorn or Makara. So therefore, this Makara Shankaranti is also associated with this particular journey of Uttarayan, and for people in the north, imagine this is a time to celebrate the return of the sun, because from now on it's going to be, winter is going to slowly reduce, the chillness is going to go, and the summer is going to start. The nice period of spring is going to come in now. So that is one reason, and there are certain other points which we will see later if time permitting. Otherwise, it's written in fair detail in our book. But what happens is, this therefore is also a season for harvesting, for enjoying the harvest, and that is what you see common across this land. So we are united by a time of harvest, because after the rains, whatever was sown during the rains, that is what comes up for harvest now after 3 months. And this is what the people, it gives flourish, it gives prosperity to people. And look at how all people have therefore celebrated harvest.
Because in Tamil Nadu, we call it Pongal, Sankranti Pongal, Makara Sankranti Pongal, because we make the dish Pongal with the new rice that we have harvested. So that's all celebrated with sugarcane. And this is from the days of Avayar and all that. Nellikadi stories, from then you have been celebrating it, Pongal. And you go to Andhra Pradesh, it's called not Pongal, but Pedda Pandiga. Pedda means big. Pandiga is festival. So it's called Pedda Pandiga. Look at that. So that is how they call Sankranti. See, that's got local names, so beautiful, diverse lands. It's called, and similarly in Karnataka too. Then here's again, it's called Sankranti here in Karnataka. Look at that. Kerala, everywhere. And you come here up to Bengal, they celebrate Sankranti in a slightly different way. What is it? The river Ganga, brought by Bhagirath and his successors, reaches the Bay of Bengal, which was then called the Ganga Sagar. Bay of Bengal is a very Anglican name, English name. Earlier it was called Ganga Sagar. So the waters from Himalayas reaching here was on Makara Sankranti day. So that is how it's celebrated as the Ganga Utsav. It's called the Ganga Sagar there. That's what is done. And you go to Assam, although it's called Bohali Bihu. And the word Bihu, that if you see, Bihu is a word similar to Vishu. What is Vishu in Kerala is Bihu. The same word, because verb becomes ba. The sir becomes her in language. So that means Bihu. So Bohali Bihu, because Bog. Look at the word Bog. All of us are Bog, right? Bog is what? Food. So we celebrate one day in Tamil Nadu, and some other parts we celebrate what? One day before Pongal as Bogi. Similarly, they celebrate as Bogali Bihu. Bogi is what? The person, you eat good food, good harvest. And you got
relishing. Bogi is to relish.
Relish anything. Bogam. We will come to that now. Little bit later. Before we'll do Kichdi. All of us know Kichdi. Kichdi.
So if it is Pongal in the south, in north, this Makara Sankranti is celebrated with making of Kichdi, which is again a rice and dal dish.
Very similar. Very similar. With pulses, rice and dal. So you see, look at it's a Kichdi dish. And it goes back. It's mentioned very early origins all over. And you go to Nepal. What do they call it? They call it Mage Sankranti. Because Makara, Maga. So
this is so in the lunisolar calendar, this month is called Maga Masam. So therefore they celebrated it as Mage Sankranti.
So we have lunisolar. So lunar and solar put together. India follows a lunisolar calendar. And you go to other places in the Himalayas, Haridwar, so they call it Sakrat. They celebrate it with sweets again, with good, til and all that. So look at the very similar celebration. And you go to Punjab. How do they celebrate it? As Lori. The same festival. The way we have Bogi, we have bonfire. We have bonfire for Bogi in the morning. They have the similar bonfire in the evening there. After the day's hard work in the fields, they have Bogi. And you come to Gujarat, Kutch, Saurashtra, Sindh of Pakistan. What do you have? Sankranti is there. That's celebrated as a kite festival. It's a beautiful kite festival there. So all over India, look at this. Festival is celebrated. So here, what does they do? They celebrate Uttarayan, and they celebrate it with giving all the food they make to the crows, to the birds.
See, we just want you to bear these few things in mind as we start looking at similarities in the next few minutes. So here they are feeding the crows, okay, Kala Kawa. So to this they are offering a lot of food and various sweets and other things. So this is in Uttar Pradesh, okay. Now, so we've seen all these different regions, and you can see therefore how in different states they've had different names, Assam, Makara Sankranti, all these names and different regions, and the reason being harvest, and all of them celebrating it with the cooking of this fresh food that has been harvested, and also feeding animals and birds. Now this idea, if you see it, it's not just across India. The idea of welcoming winter solstice or Uttarayan is not only an Indian thought. Civilizations all over the world, especially in the northern hemisphere, this is the time that they all have celebrated winter solstice. Look at the different festivals. In fact, in Japan itself, you have Amaterasu, and in Kalash, which is actually the region in the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. It today is technically, politically part of Pakistan. And there the people celebrate Chaumos. The same winter solstice festival is celebrated as Chaumos. In Persia, they celebrate it as Yalda or Degan. In Iceland, it is a story of Odin, and Odin wins over Ymi.
And the word Yemi is like, we have Yama for south. Okay, Yemi, look at that. Wins over from south and turns north. That's in Iceland.
So Scotland here, they have Hogmanay. And in Ireland, you have Mean Gainrid. Wales, they have their own festival. In Peru, here again, they have Inti Raymi. And Jamaica also, they have something called Junkanu. Both in Jamaica as well as in West Africa, they have celebrations called Junkanus. In all these Gaul, there is this Europe part, continental Europe, France, Germany and all, there is this association, especially in all Germanic, like Holland and Germany and all, they have a lady who visits them. And there is a story of this Bertha, and or they call her Hertha. She comes visiting in winter solstice. So that kind of stories are there, and so on. So everywhere they have some, and in ancient Rome, you have Natalis Solis Invicti. Natalis is the birth, Solis is the sun, Invicti is the invincible. So for the Romans, this winter solstice, when the sun was coming back, it was almost as though the sun is again being rejuvenated and it's taking a rebirth and it's coming back, the invincible sun. And even in all the Slavic countries, they have celebrated. So everybody has welcomed winter solstice. And the idea of celebrating harvest, see, the time of harvest may be different because harvest is totally dependent upon season. And season is dependent on where you are located on this earth. But the idea to celebrate a harvest, to thank divine nature for giving you that beautiful, bountiful harvest, is again common across all the civilizations. So again, you have Japan, Torinoichi, Korea, China, in Vietnam. The Jews have their own festival. Egyptians have their own festival. Greece, Demeter is their god for food. And again in Rome, for Ceres.
And look at the word Ceres. Look at the word Ceres. It is from this word Ceres that we get the word cereal, because most of your morning cereal for breakfast, some breakfast cereals you have. That word cereal comes from this word Ceres, which is harvested at this time.
Then even the Gauls have celebrated, which is the old France. In South America, Brazil, you have Thanksgiving. And even Native American in Seneca, they have their, there is a Seneca festival by the Native Americans.
So look at this, world over, you have a correlation between Uttarayan and harvest, and so beautifully celebrated across the world. we've shown you the different varieties here. So 2 varieties, we've shown you 2
So
slides.
while we saw all the different ones here, there are also similar harvest festivals. So we are all united in that sense. Mankind has this innate nature to thank divine nature for a harvest.
So it's a pan-global festival actually. While we do celebrate it in Tamil Nadu and different other parts of India, and you can see how we celebrate in Southeast Asia.
See, now in Southeast Asia, there is a festival which is Songkran. So in Thailand, it is Songkran. In Cambodia, Maha Songkran or Mohan Songkran. Now we normally, because in India we celebrate Sankranti, we think the Songkran of Thailand is also Makara Sankranti. But there is a slight difference. It is also a Sankranti because they also follow a similar calendar. And therefore, Sankranti is a transition. So it is the start of a month. But this is the Mesh Sankranti. So Songkran of Thailand and Cambodia is actually Mesh Sankranti. But what are they celebrating at that time again? Their harvest. So in Southeast Asia, Songkran is also a harvest festival, but occurring in April because that is their season of harvest. So the seasons may vary, but not the reason. That is a beautiful thing we are seeing. Everywhere, the harvest festivals may come at different seasons, but the reason to celebrate a harvest is what unites people across the world. And here within India, like we showed you, in Pongal, you have in Tamil Nadu, you have people making Pongal. Then look at this, all the way in East Champaran, Bihar. So the border between India and Nepal, they have this Khichdi celebration. And how are people united in their harvest dish? They make rice, they make it with lentils, they often also make it with sweet sugarcane because jaggery is the item and that comes from the sugarcane, which is also, see, yet another thing. When you harvest rice, is when and where you harvest rice is where you're also likely to harvest sugarcane, because both of these are water intensive crop. So both of them need a lot of water, and just after the rains, the kind of the harvest you get immediately after the rains when there is a lot of water, that is when you will get your sugarcane as well.
And regarding water, we have a full capsule on how this land has been harnessing water, which we'll discuss another day, which Mr. Murli specifically asked us. Since she said water mentioned, we'll come to that a little later. Okay.
Then yet another way, which is very, very common across this land, is to celebrate this season with sesame seeds, til or yell. So everywhere, if you see, during this time, people make these dishes. Yellu Urunde in South India, in Tamil Nadu, in Yellunda in Kerala, Til Chikki. So in different form, it is sesame and jaggery mixed together to give you various forms and names. See here, different forms again, Chikki, Modak, Barfi, Patti, Gajak. So, and every region that they have all celebrated with til, because sesame, this is during winter months, and a lot of nutrients that you need for surmounting the winter season is found in this particular small tiny seed. So this is nature's way of giving you also what you need for that period. And that is what our people, our ancestors had understood, and they had practiced, and that they have passed on to us as a tradition. So in Maharashtra, in fact, actually what they do is tilgul ghyani god god bola. So eat a tilgul and speak beautiful words, speak sweet words. This is something that we must really relish. The word bhogi is a common thread in the Sankranti celebration, the harvest celebration. The word bhogi we saw is relish, and there is a beautiful reason for us that is there to relish in this festival. See, in South, we have one day before Pongal as bhogi. And what we have to understand is this land has 3 harvests.
Teen bog, we call it in Hindi and all language, teen bog. So that means 3 harvests we have. No, listen to almost no other country or civilization in the world can afford to have 3 harvests. For example, Japan, in winter is cold. It's not possible to have 3 harvests. 2 harvests is what is at best possible. You go to Europe, again, it's 2 harvests. So only very few countries, you go to northern parts of America, again, 3 harvests is not possible because it's all snow covered for a couple of months. So it's not possible. So this land, Bharat, that way, is fortunate to have 3 bog.
See, the reason is you need bouts of rain and you need spells of dry weather as well.
And sunshine.
Sunshine without the rain for the crops to grow. You can't continuously be flooded with water either. And that is what you find happening across India in patterns. So sometimes you have the southwest monsoon covering some parts of the land, heavily in some parts and very lightly in the Coromandel coast. Then you have the northeast monsoon, which gives you heavy rains in the Coromandel coast and very slight drizzles here and there. Then western northwest India, Punjab, they also have yet another source of rain because of western depressions during this time, which is why today, even recently, we saw Punjab and all, there is a lot of rain, bad weather because of these kind of western depressions. There is actually, we shouldn't be calling it bad weather. Rain is never bad weather. But yes, it may affect your day-to-day movement, but there is rain even during this time in Punjab. So that is what has led to 3 harvests, which normally if you go in school, you will read it as Kharif, Rabi and Zaid as the 3 harvests. These are the Urdu words. But every region has had different names. West Bengal has had 3 names. Assam, there are 3 distinct names. Even in Tamil Nadu, we have different names. Samba, Navarai, Kuruvai. Bihar has its own names. Kerala has its own names. So look at it so beautifully through this land. Every region has had 3 harvests. They may come a little here and there because of when each region gets its rain. And therefore, each region has come up with its own name for these harvests. This is something that we have to really relish about the civilization. So the word Bhogi actually stands for the fact that the civilization enjoys 3 harvests, which we should bear in mind. And we should be really thankful for.
So Bhogi has been bountiful. It's overflowing bountiful. That's why you have Bhog. Bhogi. Now let us look at the word Bhogi itself as a celebration. See how they all, it's cold time, so they all have bonfires everywhere.
One, it is cold. Secondly, you have a lot of the hay that you have accumulated, harvested. And so if this is in Tamil Nadu, this is the Lori fire in Punjab. And here in Assam, so you have northwest, you have northeast, you have down south. Look at the commonality with which they're all celebrating this Bhogi day with having this kind of a bonfire. One is that you're supposed to be cleaning. It's an annual cleaning time, very much similar to the spring cleaning in Europe. So you clean and then burn up all the waste.
But see, in this cleaning, let's remember, we should not. These are all only organic stuff that's being cleaned. It's not the inorganic stuff like tire and all those things. No, that is incorrect, inappropriate, should not be done. So traditional cleaning is different from modern abuse. We should know the difference and take care to keep that in mind.
See how with so much of reverence they are actually going about this particular fire. So in Assam also it's done in the morning, just like in Tamil Nadu where it's done early mornings. In Assam also it's done early in the morning, and with a lot of reverence and music they go around this Meiji fire. This is a very, very interesting aspect. See, look at it across the land on this day. The dish they have prepared is a dish which is an item that is made of mixed vegetables. So in Tamil Nadu, many people make different kinds of kootu, mixed kootu of various vegetables, or they make avial, or they make a dish called avial. Likewise, in Maharashtra, it's called bhogichi bhaji. So a special bhaji which is made of different vegetables, and it's called bhogichi bhaji.
So you know the word bhog now, so what it means. So you can easily correlate to the word now.
In West Bengal, you have a dish called shukto. In Gujarat, you have a similar dish which is called undio, which is a mix of all different kinds of vegetables. So this is a common way. So it's very natural. So traditions come out of something that is very natural. The natural way to do thing is your tradition.
So along with your sugarcane harvest and your paddy harvest, you have harvest of so many other vegetables happening. So you celebrate all of them. See, so you have a range, you have a bouquet. It's not just one flower in a bouquet. A range makes a bouquet. Like that, you have when you have a bhog, you have enjoyed all that. How do you enjoy it best?
So in Odisha, actually, if you see the word bhog, how to relish this word and understand it. In Odisha, for Lord Jagannath, they have a festival where they offer, in fact, this is done every day, 56, chappan means 56.
Chappan, the number 56 is chappan.
So 56 varieties of dishes are made and offered to the Lord. And bhog is for the Lord to relish. So therefore 56 items to relish. So chappan bhog. So bhog, bhogi. So nature is giving you so much to relish on this particular day. And therefore you also have Bhogali Bihu as we saw in Assam.
So Bhogali Bihu, look at that. So they enjoy the bounty of the land that gives. And look at the word bhog.
But at the same time, there is a caution.
There's a caution to us. She says there's a caution. This is in, many of you would know Tamil in this group. So there is a famous Tamil poet by name Tirumular. And his text is called Tirumandiram.
He was a Siddhar
who lived millennia ago, and see what he says.
So, Urupoldu yogiye, irupoldu bhogiye, muppoldu rogiye.
That is, if you eat one meal a day, you are a yogi. If you eat 2 meals a day, you are a bhogi. If you eat 3 meals a day, you are a rogi. That means you'll become ill. Some of us today eat 4 meals a day. So what are we then? Probably Tirumula did not anticipate that in the year 2020 will be some people will be having 4 meals a day. So look at this. So look at the sloka where it says so nicely. The use bhog is used so well there. Bhogi.
Okay. Now, some time ago we saw that in Uttar Pradesh for Shankranti they feed the crows, right? See, this again is a common tradition. So you've had your harvest and you share that with the animals, the birds, the smaller beings and the cattle that have actually helped you in the harvest. So in Tamil Nadu, you have a festival, you have a ritual of Kippu Kanupidi. Then you have the way of decorating the cows and Matu Pongal and the bullocks.
Bullocks and take them out and have fun, right? So that is called Matu Pongal. Then,
and
of course,
you also have a way of celebrating called Jallikattu. We've written about this in more detail in the book.
Please read it.
People often, just as a synopsis, people often talk about this in the same breath as the matador sports in Spain. And therefore, they dub it and call this as a cruelty to animals. And we have actually outlined the reason for this Jallikattu in our book in great detail, and we show the contrast and we bring out how this is a time where these kind of sports also made the bulls more healthy. Fundamentally it's made with just bulls, it's not the cows which are used for this game. So it was a way to bring in vigor into the bulls, identify the best bulls so that the coming spring, which is the breeding season, and you can therefore get a next breed of cattle which are the best in the world in that category.
And look at the word Jallikattu. Actually, it's a morphed word. The original word is what? In Sangha Tamil, it is Sallikattu. Salli means what? Coins. Silver, gold, copper coins. That's why you have an old phrase in Tamil called Salli Kasu. I will not even give you a Salli Kasu. So you say no. So Salli means coins, all the precious coins that you have. So that was tied onto the horns of the bull. And the young, virile young boys, their function was to ensure that they tame the bull not by hurting it, and
But just-
untie the sulli and take the coins as their reward.
So they were only, the whole sport is that as the bull runs, those people who can hang on by its hump for a specified time, they have kind of achieved, they have won over the bull. So just hugging is all there is. There is no weapons that are used, unlike the matador sport where there are many people who are actually poking the bull and irritating it to go towards the matador. The matador also has a lot of swords which are pierced into the bull. So the matador sport, the ultimate goal is to kill the bull. Whereas in Jallikattu, it was never to injure the bull, because in a matador sport, the bull is let out into a very closed arena. The bull has no way to go out. Whereas here, the bull is just held temporarily in a place. Then when the bullpen, and when the gates are open, the bull just runs free. So people are supposed to go chasing after it and just hold on to it for a while.
Because they want to use the bull as a kovil kale, as a temple bull, and for mating in the spring season, because that is the purpose of growing those sturdy bulls. So the purpose is different, reason is different. Unfortunately, people who did not understand this noble purpose behind this have for some reason a decade ago said all the not so right things. Let's leave that behind. It's not the point, but more details are available in our book to read on the subject.
So this is the season to share with all these partners in your harvest. And that is a common sentiment you'll find in Tamil Nadu. You'll find it right in North India, Central India. Look at this. This is Chhattisgarh, where they also decorate the oxen. This entire festival, here is a small brochure which is welcoming people to Chhattisgarh during this time to see this kind of a festival. In fact, people even dress up like cows with horns. And these are some of the Vanavasi here dressed up as cows and enacting some dances. More importantly, now here is this beautiful picture of young girls who go around house to house and collect grains. And this is for feeding the birds and snakes and so on. So that is yet another sentiment. So here you have something called Kanupidi, and here you have young girls going around collecting grains to feed the birds.
So it's a tradition across
and we
the
saw
land.
in UP also they are feeding the Kala Kawa. So this is actually the time that you thank all your partners in the harvest. And we will just put a small film for you on this particular aspect.
This is in our YouTube for all of you to watch. There's a very short film for you here, just 3 minutes.
Why do we say Annadata Sukhi Bhava before a meal?
Annadata means the one who provides food. We broadly relate it to the lady of the house who cooks the food or the farmer who grows the food grains. When we think deep on the subject, we realize that the food that is served on our plates comes from a chain of Annadata. The chain begins with the microorganisms which provide nutrients to the soil. The earthworm which aerates the soil, the bullocks that plow the soil, the farmer who plants the crops and looks after them till they are harvested, the trader who ensures that the grains reach us everywhere we are, and finally, the one who cooks and serves the food with love and care. In this chain, we cannot afford to forget those who look after our water bodies to ensure there is sufficient water for irrigation. Over and above all these is the one who is safeguarding our land for food production to take place unhampered.
Thus, from the microorganisms to the earthworm, to the cattle, the farmer, the irrigator, trader, cook, and those securing all these, all formed part of the Annadatta chain. Each one in this chain has to be happy for this chain to be sustainable. This is what we pray when we say Annadatta Sukhi Bhava before our meal.
Those who want to share this film with your friends and family, it's available on our YouTube channel. You can do that. Okay.
So this is the entire chain. So this is the time when we thank all the people in this chain. We share the prosperity with them. And the other aspect is these water providers. There are innumerable ways in which our people have been ingenious enough to save the waters of the rains and use it for the whole year to be able to get these 3 harvests. These 3 harvests cannot just come on their own. You have to work towards it, and the water providers are one of the main communities who have helped this land, this civilization, reach this zenith of being able to store waters in many different ways, appropriate for the season, appropriate for the land, topography, and use them for the rest of the year. So that is something we can really spend a while to understand these various techniques. So they are people to be thanked. The people who guard the borders and make it and ensure law and order, so that there is a sense of protection for the people who are growing, for the people who are storing, trading, and therefore the entire season of harvest can be enjoyed in its best. And there are many more other reasons. And if you see, we started with the celestial connect. We saw how we are connected with sweetness by the way we express it, by having the bogi fires around which people gather together, how we all like to share it with the animals who have helped us, how we also look after these animals and ensure that we have the best cattle to help us further, how it is all connected with monsoons. We may vary in the time slightly this way, that way in terms of harvest, because Deepavali again is another time for harvest, fundamentally in the north. And because that is when you have had monsoons, then we have highlighted this in another book, which is called Deepavali. We'll show you these, where they are to be found. Then there is something called sibling bonding at this time.
Between brother and sister.
For instance, if you see, after Deepavali in the north is when you have Bhai Dooj, where brothers visit sisters and give them gifts. Likewise, during Pongal Shankranti in South India, you have sisters and brothers bonding during this time, and the brothers gifting sisters. So, because fundamentally these are connected with the harvest, and the sister has her share of harvest, which is being given by the brother. More details on this again you will find in our book. And kite flying again you will find is very common in Gujarat, Rajasthan, as well as in Hyderabad. So that is yet another festival which connects. And we saw the Ganga. So from the sky to the seas, you find that there are various reasons that keep connecting us. And to show you where the book is, see in our Bharath Gyan website, if you go there, there will be a link called mini book. And in that mini book section, as you scroll down, there'll be a section on festivals. And here is where you have this book on Shankranti.
So the moment you click, you get the book, you read it fully. It's now available for free read, the full book on Shankranti. It's there.
So all the different things that we saw today, plus more in greater detail, you will find it here in this book. And likewise, if you go to the book section, you will find the book on Deepavali. So here in the Understanding series, you will find the book on Understanding Shabarimala Swami Ayyappa.
Where you get the astral connect of Harihara Putra, that point you'll get there. we spoke about.
And you will find the book on Deepavali again, which highlights this season of harvest in North India. And being a Japanese company, there is yet another book that you might find interesting, which is the Indo-Japan in our Connect Over Millennia series. This is also there on our...
It's available both in English and Hindi. And apart from this, in the mini book, we have another book on water. So that is also available for all of you to read. So there are different, and on
So you can access the mini books from here.
And
and for films, you can go here, click on this link, you will come to our playlists.
And we have few films on Indo-Japan Connect as well, which you can watch.
So here is the playlist. You can scroll through the playlist and find various films that you can enjoy here. The Annadatta film is there in Ahara, in food over here. So plenty for you to browse and enjoy. And our contacts are...
Those who see,
fundamentally, the reason we are sharing all this is to give people confidence in dare. So confidence that our ways have been good, successful, which is why we have enjoyed flourish for so many millennia, and to give us the dare to emulate those ways, to understand them first, appreciate them, and dare to follow and adopt them and follow them, so that we can again be in sync with nature, again enjoy all the prosperity that nature has to give us. Because this civilization has been a civilization whose psyche is built around abundance. We have enjoyed a lot of abundance, and all our tradition, our festivals, the psyche of the festivals, they're all built around the theme of abundance. And that is what we have to understand, relate to, appreciate, and try to come back into sync with that kind of a feeling. And these are our contacts and website links that you can go to. And
lot of this information is available for you here in our website, and any queries you're most welcome to ask us, email, and we'll be glad to answer. But after you go through the content, certainly yes. And it's been hours since we've spoken. Start speaking. We'd like to thank Mr. Murali as well as the whole team of KGK Jet India for inviting us to be part of this celebration of Sankranti. And any queries on the subject, we'll be glad to take. If I don't know what your company protocol allows you to do, whatever it is, we like to adhere to those, your company organization protocols and time.